Hello and welcome to Express News. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. My name is Abhishek Mahajan. We'll start with the top story. Information Commissioner Hiralal Samaria was sworn in as the Chief of the Central Information Commission by Indian President Draupadi Murmu at a function at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in the national capital. India's President Draupadi Murmu, in the presence of India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, administered the oath of office to Hiralal Samaria. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar interacted with the students of Sainik School, Junjunu at Parliament House today. Addressing the students, India's Vice President said that they should be proud of being Indians, proud of India's achievements. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar was on a long day visit to Indian city of Mumbai today. Vice President visited Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. Malaysian Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Zamri Abdul Qadir arrives in India for a two-day visit. The visit is aimed at strengthening the enhanced strategic partnership between the two countries. The first Australia-India Education and Skill Council meeting was held in the western city of Gandhinagar in Gujarat on Monday. The meeting was jointly chaired by the Indian Education and Skill Development Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and Jason Clare MP, Australian Minister for Education. Indian Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan announced that the two countries have reviewed their bilateral cooperation in education and skilling and agreed to further strengthen knowledge and skilling partnerships. India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has issued blocking orders against 22 illegal betting apps and websites, including Mahadev Book and Reddy Anna Presto Pro. India's IT Minister of State Rajiv Chandrasekhar alleged the Chhattisgarh government did not send any request to block these platforms, despite having powers to do so. India's Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur, while addressing a curtain-raiser media briefing in New Delhi, said that India is seeing highest production of films in the world. Indian Minister Piyush Goyal flagged off 100 mobile vans for sale of wheat flour under Bharat brand today from Kartavya Path, New Delhi. Speaking on the occasion, Union Minister Piyush Goyal said that Bharat Atta will be available at all physical and mobile outlets of Kendriya Bhandar, NAFED and NCCF from today. Another earthquake of magnitude 5.6 on the Richter scale hit Nepal today, the second quake in just 3 days to hit the country. India sends humanitarian aid to Nepal as the Himalayan nation after deadly earthquake. The government is to provide free medical treatment to those injured in the earthquake. The 7th edition India-Nepal coordination meeting between India's Sashastra Seema Bal and Armed Police Force Nepal is in progress in New Delhi. Specialized troops of Spare Corps Indian Army rehearse combat free fall and delivery of logistics by guided precision aerial delivery system using aerial platforms to validate rapid response capabilities. The 8th edition of Vizag Navy Marathon in Visakhapatnam saw an exceptional turnout with over 12,000 participants of all ages, including children as well as naval personnel from India and abroad, running along the beach road. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds telephonic conversation with Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi over West Asia situation, the Israel-Hamas conflict. Indian share markets ending green today as Sensex jumps 594.91 points to settle at 64,958.69 points. Nifty gains 181.15 points to close at 19,411.75 points. Indian rupee closes almost flat at 83.22 against the US dollar. Gold futures maturing on December 5th, 2023 stood at Rs 60,900 per 10 gram on Multi-Commodity Exchange of India Limited. Silver futures maturing on December 5th are traded at Rs 72,210 per kg on the MCX. Brent crude was trading at around $86.19 per barrel on Monday. Asian shares rallied for the fourth straight session on Monday after market surprise and earlier rate cuts in the United States and Europe. Top oil exporters Saudi Arabia and Russia have decided to prolong their additional voluntary oil output cuts until the end of this year to prevent any potential destabilization of the oil market. The British government plans to introduce legislation mandating annual North Sea oil and gas licensing rounds. The global manufacturing purchasing managers index declined in October and remained in contraction, indicating a downward trajectory in the world economy. The Israeli army released video showing the opening of a humanitarian corridor to allow civilians in northern Gaza to evacuate south. The videos released by the IDF were accompanied by a video message delivered in Arabic asking Gazan residents to leave the northern part of the enclave, describing it as a war zone. Phone and internet services in the Gaza Strip are reported to be down. The Israeli military said it has exposed a network of Hamas tunnels, commanders' centers and rocket launchers beneath and adjacent to hospitals in northern Gaza. The Israeli army has also released video footage of its troops firing at Hamas targets present inside Gaza. Israel's army spokesperson said the military operates based on intelligence information and examines every event. Britain's Foreign Office said on Monday it was temporarily withdrawing some British embassy staff from Lebanon. Britons have advised against all travel to Lebanon and encouraged to leave while commercial flights remain. Israeli army armored vehicles were seen driving along northern Israel roads on Monday as tensions along the border with Lebanon increased. Israel's military has said it had entirely encircled Gaza City to attack Hamas targets. Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani visited Tehran and met Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. The visit comes amid an escalation of the Israel-Hamas conflict. And as per the latest reports, explosions have been heard and seen in the northern parts of Gaza as Israeli military continues its operation to neutralize Hamas. And coming to aid from country, Jordan's Air Force has airdropped urgent medical aid to the Jordanian field hospital in Gaza early on Monday. US Vice President Kamala Harris is set to discuss Biden administration's efforts to increase the flow of humanitarian aid to Gaza amid the Israel-Hamas conflict with foreign leaders during a phone conversation on Monday. 3 French planes delivering 54 tons of aid for Gaza have arrived in Egypt, and France has 3 naval vessels in the eastern Mediterranean ready to respond to the evolving situation. And the heads of 18 United Nations agencies and major aid organizations issued a rare joint statement Sunday calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. European Commission President has announced the European Union will increase humanitarian aid to Gaza by $26.9 million. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken held talks with Turkish Foreign Minister today. The talks were aimed at soothing the Israel-Hamas conflict situation. In a latest post on X by the IDF, over 450 Hamas targets have been struck, including terrorists, military compounds, observation posts, anti-tank missile launch posts, and more. IDF ground troops have taken control of a Hamas military compound containing observation posts, training areas for Hamas operatives, and underground terror tunnels in Gaza. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine continues as Russia said that its forces attacked Ukrainian airport while Ukraine claimed its armed forces repelled Russian attacks on several fronts. At least 5 people were injured in Russian missile strikes on Odessa National Fine Arts Museum. Russian military forces carried out airstrikes on a drone warehouse in Syria's Idlib governorate, according to Russian news agency. Ukraine's president called on the US to provide more funding to help his forces counter Russia and invited former US President Donald Trump to fly in to see the scale of the conflict for himself. According to EU officials, the European Union executive is expected to recommend taking Ukraine one step closer to becoming a member of the bloc this week. A caravan of migrants from Mexico's Tapachula city is heading towards the US southern border. And more than 20 people were killed after shells hit the market in Omdurman during an intense exchange of fire between the two sides. A car crashed front lawn of a pub in Daylesford, a rural town in Australia, killing 5 people including 2 children. Tokyo authorities held a missile evacuation drill on Monday to help residents get ready amid growing concerns over North Korea's test launches of ballistic missiles. Police arrested a man and rescued a child at the center of a hostage standoff at the Hamburg airport, ending crisis that had forced authorities to close the busy air hub. And amid the rising air pollution in India's capital Delhi, Stage 4 of the Creative Response Action Plan is activated to improve the air quality. Delhi Fire Services collaborated with the government to spray water at hotspots in an effort to alleviate the situation, and the primary schools have been shut till 10th November. One of India's most iconic landmarks, the Taj Mahal, was veiled in a thick blanket of smog as toxic seasonal pollution covered parts of northern India. In the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu, heavy rain lashed parts of Chennai city. The regional Met Center of Chennai warns of more showers in the coming days. Afghanistan was hit by an earthquake of magnitude 4.1 with depth 10 km near the Kunduz region. Unseasonably cold weather and blizzards hit northeast China on Monday. Authorities in several cities issued heightened weather alerts. The blizzards forced hundreds of flights to be rescheduled and closing schools at several cities. Authorities warned people to stay indoors. 247,000 French households were without electricity due to storms Kieran and Domingos caused by a powerful jet stream. According to a report by the Net Zero Tracker Consortium, only a small number of the world's largest listed companies meet the strict guidelines set by the United Nations to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. The report reveals that only 4% of the companies meet the target criteria by UN's Race to Zero campaign, while only 37% of companies have targets that include Scope 3 emissions. Chef Jose Andres' non-profit World Central Kitchen has been giving meals to thousands of Acapulco residents affected by Storm Otis. Ahead of Diwali festival in India, potters craft significant quantity of earthen lamps. A young Kashmiri potter fulfills a substantial order of 20,000 lamps, working diligently to meet the deadline. A grand Deepotsav or lamp festival is being celebrated before Diwali at Sri Swaminarayan Mandir in India's Vadodara. Britain's Prince William raced on a dragon boat with expatriates in Singapore ahead of the Earthshot Prize, which is being hosted by the city-state this week. Mexicans wore costumes and face paint, disguising themselves as the iconic Mexican skeleton figure known as La Catrina or Elegant Skeleton at a parade celebrating the Day of the Dead. Thousands marched through Buenos Aires in celebration of LGBTQ+ equality and diversity at a colorful pride parade. Korean language competition, a cultural program of Korean broadcasting system produced overseas, marks the 50th anniversary of the founding of the KBS. Over 200 people from 4 countries took part in their preliminary rounds to vie for tickets to Korea. It marked 20th anniversary of the Korean language competition program. Colorful hot air balloons illuminated by their burners' flames dazzled crowds at a festival in Saga City in southwestern Japan. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence startup xAI will be integrated into his social media platform X. It will also be available as a standalone app. The Indian Information Ministry announced the dates for 54th International Film Festival of India during a press briefing. IFFI is set to take place in Goa from November 20th to 28th. Will kick off with the opening film Catching Dust and conclude with the closing masterpiece, The Featherweight. Film director Meghna Gulzar unveiled the poster for the movie Sam Bahadur on social media on Monday. The trailer for Netflix upcoming series The Railway Men starring R. Madhavan, Babul Khan, KK Menon and Divyendu released today. Ahead of his Diwali release, Indian actor Salman Khan and Katrina Kaif's film Tiger 3 has generated 4.2 crore through advance bookings. The film is set to hit the screens on Diwali, November 12th. Stirring up the excitement through a series of announcements, the makers have unveiled Kamal Hassan's Dulquer Salman's Thug Life title teaser. In a devastating incident, stunt artist Raja Ramses, along with his 3 minor children, died in a car crash in Georgia. The 41-year-old artist garnered widespread recognition for his remarkable stunts in Marvel movies. 3 songs from the Greta Gerwig director Barbie have been submitted by Warner Brothers for the consideration of Oscars. Single Taylor Swift's latest release, 1989, has hit #1 spot on the Billboard 200 this week. Taylor's version has become now the top-selling album in America for 2023 in under 1 week. BTS member Jungkook has received Best Song and the Best K-Pop Trophy awards at the 2023 MTV EMA for his hit song 7. In the first incident to ever take place in international cricket, Sri Lanka batter Angelo Matthews was timed out during Sri Lanka's clash against Bangladesh in Delhi on Monday. And after a disappointing World Cup campaign, Sri Lanka has sacked its cricket governing body and replaced it with an interim committee. India beat second place South Africa by 243 runs to register their 8th win of the World Cup at Eden Gardens. Indian bowlers bundled out South Africa on a paltry score of 83 in their chase of 327. Ravindra Jadeja took a 5-wicket haul. India's star batter Virat Kohli has equalled Sachin Tendulkar's record of 49 ODI centuries on his 35th birthday against South Africa. Australia will take on Afghanistan at the Wankhede Stadium on Tuesday in the Cricket World Cup 2023. The Indian women's hockey team trounced Japan 4-0 to win the Women's Asian Champions Trophy in Ranchi on Sunday. Indian women's hockey team captain Savita Punia said they are very happy with the overall display they've shown in the tournament. And world number 1 Novak Djokovic cruised to a record-extending 7th Paris Masters title on Sunday. He beat unseeded Bulgarian Dimitrov 6-4, 6-3. Red Bull's triple world champion Max Verstappen took a record-extending 17th win of the Formula 1 season in Brazil on Sunday after leading a red flag and restarted Sao Paulo Grand Prix from the pole position. Alright, that's all we have in this edition of Express News. You stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.